Hello and welcome back to Tobacco Road and a Pod. My name's Gareth Parsons, joined by Aiden Moore, and we've got I'd say an interesting episode for you today. We're in kind of I wouldn't say summer slump, but sports media is kind of slowing down a little bit. We've got limited stuff to talk about. But we still got some interesting stuff to talk about nonetheless. We've got some obviously MMA, CONCACAF Gold Cup, and then we're going to go over kind of our opinions on certain ESPY awards and ESPY nominations and who we think should win them. So, without further ado, let's get into it, and we will start off with some MMA.
Alrighty, so UFC 317 has just wrapped up this weekend, and we had a very solid card this past weekend. A lot of good storylines going in, and I'm really optimistic for the future of multiple divisions when it comes to the UFC. Right now, I feel like the UFC may have been in a little bit of a slump over these past couple months, but with John Jones retiring, old guards kind of moving on right now, I really see a very optimistic future for the UFC right now and a lot of interesting storylines. And I just want to jump into it right now. Starting off in the first fight in this pay-per-view, we had a bantamweight matchup between Peyton Talbot and Felipe Lima. I really did not emphasize a lot of these undercard and like mid-tier pay-per-view fights in my overview, but honestly, some of these fights just absolutely did not disappoint. Peyton Talbot comes out with a unanimous decision, coming out after a previous loss that he faced in UFC 311 against Renoli Barcelos. This was a very good win for Payne Talbot. He's one of those up and coming fighters right now that has a lot of weight behind his name. And I feel like in a couple years, a lot of casuals are going to be knowing about this guy, and a lot of people are really going to like his style. He's proved in this fight that he has like very solid striking abilities and is just a very interesting fighter. And I was a little bit worried coming into this fight that he was going to have like continuous slump and like he was going to kind of like continue to slide a little bit, but he comes out strong and has some really solid rounds behind him and gets the decision on this one. Very interesting fight going into the lightweight bout between Benelli Dariush versus Renato Moyacano. We had a unanimous decision by for Benelli Dariush. It was an absolute slugfest on both sides, but Benelli was able to secure 5 takedowns and absolutely control the ground game with 5 minutes and 53 seconds, almost 6 minutes of control over Renato. Uh, Strikes were just going everywhere, and Benelli was able to land a significant amount of strikes to the head to Renato, which secured him the victory. I really like this fight because it's showing to me that they're the just pure depth of lightweight dominance and lightweight talent that the UFC has. And as we're going to get into later, we're going to show that the lightweight division is one of the hottest divisions in MMA right now, and all eyes are going to be on it. Going into the flyweight match, we had a very interesting fight between Joshua Vaughn and Brandon Royval. I really didn't expect too much out of this fight, but I was very, very impressed by Joshua Van's uh, performance in this one, and he definitely has a shot at the flyweight title right now. He was able to land 209 total strikes against Brandon. This was just an absolute slugfest to the from the beginning to the end. There was only like ground time for about 9 seconds. All of this was just absolutely on the feet, just punches, kicks everywhere. It was just absolutely insane. Very interesting fight. I'm really impressed by Joshua Van's ability to strike in this, but Brandon also had uh, heaps of strikes against Joshua, securing 216 strikes against Joshua. This one was just absolutely crazy. A very pleasant fight to watch. Just two warriors just absolutely going at it for this. Very, very good fight. But Joshua Van gets the a win, and I think he might be a good contender for Alexandra Pantoja, who we will get into next. Pantoja has an absolute dominant win over Kai Kara France. Pantoja able to get the submission by rear naked choke in the third round. Pantoja just absolutely showed his dominance in this one, able to land significant strikes to Kai's head. Pantoja, right now, if you take into consideration all of his fights, he has been one of the most dominant flyweights in the UFC. Granted, that comes with an asterisk because Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, is by far the undisputed GOAT in flyweight. He has something like 10 uh, uh, defenses for his belt, and Alexander Pantoja has only been able to secure a good. He secured a bunch of defenses. He's now on his fifth defense of the belt, so he's on his way to rival Demetrius Johnson. Pantoja is just an absolute dominant fighter. And in my ideal world, I would love to see a fight between Mighty Mouse and Pantoja, but that's very unlikely to happen. Which is why I think Joshua Van is would be a very interesting fight against Pantoja, especially in a division that a lot of people seem to overlook. A lot of people overlook the flyweight division. Some people say it is not the most deep division, not a lot of talent, but this night to me proved that flyweight is one of the most underrated divisions in UFC, and more eyes definitely need to be on it. Pantoja gets the submission win, continuing his reign as flyweight champion. But this leads us to our main event of the night. This was absolutely crazy. We had Ilia Topuria knocking out Charles Oliveira in the first round. This was sad to watch as a Charles Oliveira fan. Like, Charles Oliveira, unfortunately, just did not have the spark that he usually does. All respect to him. I never want to diss a fighter who gets knocked out, but this was an Ilia Topuria absolute dominant win right now, and right now I'm seeing him as UFC Thanos right now, undefeated, just nobody is able to stop him right now. He is on an absolute run, takes his first lightweight title and lightweight fight in general, and was not phased by any stretch of the imagination. Uh, Absolutely knocked out Charles Oliveira, securing 24 total strikes, 17 shots to the head. There was one time where it looked like maybe Charles Oliveira might have had a chance at a submission. He did have 21 seconds of control, but Ilia Topuria was just able to take every single thing that Charles Oliveira had and just throw it right back at him. Uh, Charles Oliveira just went out cold. Ilia Topuria takes the win. The lightweight division is looking very interesting right now. With Ilia Topuria now permanently in the lightweight division, there's going to be a lot of interesting potential matchups that are going to be had and theorized, and I can't wait to see them. There was a little bit of a post-fight moment. I'm going to call it. It's a DC Brock Lesnar moment, in my opinion. And for those of you who don't know, like 10 years ago, Daniel Cormier called out Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar walked onto the UFC octagon, and they got into a little bit of a scuffle. It was all really just kind of scripted promotion stuff to kind of generate hype for a potential matchup that never happened. But Ilia Topuria calls out Patty Pimblett, and Dana White, not in the octagon at the time, says he doesn't know who let Patty Pimblett in the octagon. We all saw Joe Rogan just Joe Rogan
Can we
basically,
get Patty up here?
yo, can we get Patty up here? Let's do it. I'm sorry.
Let's do it, guys.
Like, okay, so there's a lot of talk around whether Dana White is still vested in the UFC. Like, he was pretty much out of the octagon immediately. I can tell right now, like, he's kind of getting a little bit of a fatigue being the head face of the UFC, and he kind of wants to move on to other things right now. But this 100% like was Dana White thinking, in my opinion. Like, there's no way in hell that, in my opinion, that you, Dana White, just completely say, oh, there's a no Patty rule. This generates so much clicks, so much speculation. Seeing Patty Pimblett face off against Ilia Topuria in the octagon right now. This is, right now, it is the fight that a lot of fans want right now. And if you ask me, like maybe 2 years ago, if I thought Ilia Topuria versus Patty Pimblett would be a title ship fight, I would have thought you were absolutely crazy. Like, the no way in hell that these two people would be like the most interesting fight for the lightweight division. But I'm not going to lie, a lot of the fans want it, and I am not necessarily against it right now. It's a very interesting fight. Patty Pimblett has kind of cleaned up a lot of his act. He's been able to produce some very solid wins in the lightweight division. Ilia Topuria, absolutely just on a monster run right now. Granted, this was his first lightweight bout, but originally we didn't even think this was going to be a championship fight. Islam Makhachev vacated the belt to move up, and that by default makes Ilia Topuria the champion right now. And this is just super duper interesting. There's so many ways that the lightweight division could go right now, and I am super interested and I'm invested in it, and I'm excited to see what the future holds right now. Ilia Topuria versus Patty Pimblett would be a good fight, but there's other fights that I think might be a little bit more warranted. Arman would be a good fight against Ilia Topuria. He's been on an absolute tear as of late, and has done pretty well. Justin Gaethje would be a very good fight for Ilya. Just it's those three fights, like potential fights, that are getting a lot of people really into the lightweight division right now, and I'm super excited to see what will happen. And it's just kind of having me wonder, like, if Islam Makhachev is able to take down JDM in the welterweight division, I think the smart move for Islam Makhachev would be to head back down to the lightweight division, regardless of whether welterweight fares well for Islam or not. I feel like there's so many like interesting storylines that you could get with an Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev fight. But overall, very interesting card. I'm very excited for the future of the UFC. And in the next coming podcast, I will be elaborating on a bunch of different aspects of UFC for Gareth. We have a bunch of content drawn up for that, and I'm super excited for it. But overall, UFC 317 for me, like it has to get like at least like a B plus or an A minus in terms of scoring how good this pay-per-view card was. It exceeded some of my expectations. I was thinking originally like, okay, this is an interesting lineup for a UFC International Fight Week, but it exceeded my expectation. Very solid planning, very solid matchups, and the future of lightweight and bantamweight is very interesting, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't see much of the Ilia Topuria versus Oliveira fight. I wanted to watch it, but I mean, I will say I've been getting into the hypothetical matchups that are coming lately. I mean, Aiden and I talked about it a little, and there's supposedly rumors that what's the next rumor fight? What's Duplessis versus Patty is supposedly the rumored fight that's supposed to join the 319 card. I don't know. That could just be speculation. I don't know what you think about it. I know
It
they're
wasn't
like you said they're kind
Duplessis.
of
Like hypothetical was Gaethje versus
Gaethje. It was Gaethje.
yeah, Gaethje versus Patty. I don't know. I mean, like, I really think that the Patty stuff was kind of scripted. They want to sell that really hard right now,
Oh
and
yeah, I think
Dana White just saying, "I don't know who let Patty in the ring." Like he's selling this right now. He's like he's trying to pull this like, "Oh, Patty's going rogue." Ilya and Patty really want to fight each other, which to be fair, they really do. Um, I think the UFC's kind of got to strike while the iron's hot right now. I mean, I if in all fairness, I don't know if Patty can take down Gaethje. And if I'm just looking at this as a business, like I want to sell the most cards, Ilya versus Patty. Like immediately book it right now. That's going to sell so much. UFC, like granted, as much as I like giving like making sure the best fighters get their fight and it's all fair. Sometimes you just got to go for the money. And if you want to go for the money, that's your money fight right now. You schedule Patty and Ilya for December or November. You schedule them for that, and then maybe you try to get Islam in to fight either of the winner of that fight after. Would this like absolutely leapfrog uh, season like good fighters like Armin? Like absolutely. Like I that would it's not going to be like an easy ask for some of the more hardcore fans who want to see Armin Tasakuran fight, and it's going to be kind of hard to sell since Justin Gaethje is a very, very good fighter and definitely deserves another title shot. But right now, if you're just looking for the money, and like the UFC is in the business of making money, those are the fights I'm looking for right now. If I'm looking for just pure what's like good fights, I'm thinking Ilya versus Justin Gaethje or Ilya versus Armin right now. But if I'm thinking what's going to make like boatloads of money for the UFC, you Ilya versus Patty right now. Like if you want to get out of this, because it like with things like ESPN deals and like money starting to become like a very like I want to say big issue for the UFC, but like being something like we're kind of in an age where like superstars are starting to fall off right now, and like there's no real like superstar of the UFC. You got to book that fight right now. Superstars are going to be made, and moments will be had.
I agree. That's a fight I want to see happen. Obviously, like
I mean,
at
like
first I thought that would be.
Gareth would be interested. Like, bro, if okay,
I am
here's my
interested in the UFC. My
no no
problem
no
is
no 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like everybody would tune in for that. Like my dad would probably tune in for that. Like you're getting a lot of like new faces into the sport if you get that. And like I don't want to jinx it, but like listen, UFC comes up to Boston a lot. My dream would be I head up to Boston, like maybe in a November or a December. We save up, we fight, and we go to Ilya versus Patty. I like, we're going to that. If it's in a city near us, we're going to that.
Oh, abs. But no, that's a fight. I initially thought that would be a fight that would be too good to be true, but then obviously, talked about who let Patty in the ring.
Who let Patty in
No.
the ring? I don't know who the hell let Patty in the ring. Really, Dana? You
You
don't know? But anyway, there are some. You want to get into Gold Cup right now before we go into the ESPYS?
Yep. So currently, right now, for those of you who don't know, obviously outside of the Club World Cup, we have the Gold Cup going on. The Gold Cup is essentially the like Europe has the Euro, where the countries compete to be the best European soccer team. The CONCACAF Gold Cup. For those who don't know, CONCACAF stands for it's the Confederation for Central, North, and Central America and other outlying territories. Like they don't necessarily have to be countries. Like Puerto Rico is part of CONCACAF, but it takes, say, probably the best 16 teams in CONCACAF. Sorry, 15 and a guest team. This year, with it, we've got 15 teams from CONCACAF, and then the 2020 or 2034 World Cup host, which is usually what they do going into a World Cup. So, but obviously the U.S. hosts the next World Cup, so they can't be the guest team because they're part of CONCACAF. But you know, getting into the group stages, kind of quick highlighting what went down in the group stages. There's some interesting storylines. To start off in the group stage, the big one that surprised me was Jamaica going out in the group stages of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Jamaica is a team that's currently really hot right now in terms of World Cup qualifying. They're undefeated. They've actually played every single group in their CONCACAF Gold Cup group several times within the last few weeks in World Cup qualifying, so in another competition, and they're 12-0. Meanwhile, they come into the Gold Cup and they lose 2 out of 3 games. They lost to Panama, lost to Guatemala, and then they got a last second winner over Guadeloupe, who is so lowly ranked that it's not even showing up on the app. So, yeah. Elsewhere, big storylines. I mean, Mexico and Costa Rica Mexico tops Group A. Costa Rica in second by goal difference. They were tied on points, wins, losses, ties. Canada and Honduras go through. Panama and Guatemala go through in that group. And then obviously the U.S. going a perfect 3-for-3 in their group with wins over Saudi Arabia, Trinidad, and Haiti. Then that brings us to the knockout stages of this tournament. CONCACAF Gold Cup. Sorry, I'm struggling to find it here. I'm using an app just to make CONCACAF Gold Cup knockout round. We'll start off the big one, the big upset. Guatemala takes down Canada. Canada was one of the favorites to win this tournament, particularly after how the U.S.'s kind of send-off series for this went. Very uninspiring losses against Turkey and Switzerland, but and Canada was kind of on a hot streak coming in. But Guatemala finds a way to get on. Jamaica or not. Canada jumped out to an early 1-0 lead with a Jonathan David penalty, but then Ruben evened it up for Guatemala, and then Guatemala would go on to win a shootout. This is one of the first losses in Jesse Marsh's tenure as the Canadian coach. So we'll see how they respond to that. Then the second match in the knockout stages was the U.S. versus Costa Rica. I'll admit, this game was kind of odd for more reasons than another. I mean, first of all, the penalty to start off the game where Costa Rica took the 1-0 lead. I honestly don't think it's a foul, but that's not how it was called on the field. Then an incident took place not long after that initial goal from Costa Rica. It was in the first half. The U.S. is on a breakaway, or no, the U.S. has a goal scoring opportunity, and Kenneth Vargas takes Malik Tillman down in the box with a studs up tackle. He receives a yellow card, and Malik Tillman ends up missing the penalty kick. Now, you're probably saying, Gareth, you can't have any complaints. He missed the penalty kick. Well, the thing is, if you'll notice what I said studs up tackle. In soccer, it does not matter the severity of the tackle. Usually you think of red card as something completely egregious.
Yeah.
But within the laws of the game, if you have a studs up tackle, which means your studs are not in the ground,
Hmm.
they are facing outwards or up, it is an
Yeah.
automatic red card. It doesn't matter if you barely graze him, it's considered a dangerous play because in the pros, you're allowed to play with metal studs. And for
Yeah.
those you
I
don't
mean,
know,
I'm not gonna
even
lie. I was like, hey, that's kind of like a red flag right there. Like, how the hell was that not a red card?
but you know, sometimes referees they try to be understanding. Try and keep it to yellow cards so they don't get too inflammatory. The U.S. and Costa Rica is a rivalry match, so they're trying to keep it under wraps. But from there, obviously missed penalty. U.S. then goes on to score. Diego Luna, nice to see him get international goal, his first international goal, assisted by Max Arfson. Obviously goes to the halftime tied, but the USA has all the momentum here. The U.S. not even a minute into the second half, Malik Tillman goal, or excuse me, sorry, Malik Tillman assist on a Matt Arfson goal. Matt Arfson getting his first U.S. goal. Two first goals in this game was very good look for the youngsters, the young U.S. squad. And then the U.S. kind of got complacent in this game. They kind of sat
Yeah.
back, defended, and then Costa Rica equalized. And from there, the U.S. all of a sudden, that meme where like the older brother sits up with a controller, like that goes around the internet, like when things get real. U.S. sits up, tries to get a game winner. Unfortunately, does not get a game winner. But unlike other tournament play, the CONCACAF Gold Cup goes straight to penalties instead of overtime in all the games except for the final. The final has overtime. The other games go straight to a shootout. USA, I'll admit, they were not in a great spot. The goalkeeper for Costa Rica, Keylor Navas, while an old man, is one of the best goalkeepers of all time in his younger days. Was a goalkeeper for Real Madrid, won various Champions Leagues, Spanish leagues there, Copa del Reyes, you name it, the whole 9 yards with Costa Rica and Real Madrid. He came out of retirement for this tournament, so it's not looking good in this game. But you'd think the story of this penalty shootout would be Keylor Navas. No, it is this no-name goalkeeper for the U.S. that they called up at the last second, Matt Freeze, saving 4 out of 7 of Costa Rica's penalties. That ultimately is what kind of propelled the U.S. to victory in this. I mean, obviously, some nicely taken penalties by Damian Downs, Tyler Adams, and Malik Tillman. But yeah, it was a good game. But move on to the rest of the knockout stage. We got Mexico over Saudi Arabia. Nothing much to write home about there. Mexico looked good. Mexico's a team that's been struggling as of late. However, they got a new manager. They're new and improved, and they look good. I will say their play style's a little choppy for me, but hey, in CONCACAF, like been sending Aiden all these reels and TikToks. In CONCACAF, you just got to get it done. It's going
Gotta
to
get
be a
it done.
bloodbath. You just got to get done. Then, obviously, final game, Honduras getting the upset win over Panama on penalties. From there, we move on to the semifinal matchups, which took place tonight. Aiden, I believe, watched this one as well.
Hmm.
We'll start off with the U.S. and Guatemala. Diego Luna getting a brace. Diego Luna only has 3 goals for the U.S. national team, and all 3 of them have come within the last week. He was on fire. He looked unstoppable. What I will say is, for me, at least when it comes to World Cup selection for the squad, for those of you who don't know, I'll mention this in my video. We're similar to Aiden's MMA video. I'm gonna make a video where we kind of introduce Aiden to certain soccer concepts. He's already, I'd say, pretty well knowledgeable compared to the most people, but it's more of a deep dive. So, for those of you who don't, but back to my point. What was I trying to say?
I
I don't
mean,
know.
Diego
Fall from it.
Luna just like from what I saw, like Diego Luna just absolutely popped off in like the first 20 minutes of this match. I mean, I was kind of just like when I was watching, I was like, holy hell, like this is just absolutely popping off right now. I thought he was like for sure on track to secure that hat trick for the U.S. because they just jumped out and in like the first 20 minutes and then just kind of rode it out for the rest of the match, which it worked for Guatemala because like Guatemala was only able to score a goal at 80 minutes with Uglier Escobar. But extremely dominant win by the United set, a really tone setter at the beginning. It really felt like, okay, we're the big dogs. We're setting it off, just going super aggressive on the offense and setting the tone, and then having them play our game near the end and just kind of like, okay, play catch up now. And if you're playing catch up with like the United States in the Gold Cup, I just don't think that's a formula for good success. And the USA comes out with a very solid win, moving on to the finals.
Yep. And within this win, I remember my point I'm making. So for those who know, for the World Cup, you can only take 24 guys, and this Gold Cup being the last little bit of meaningful soccer these guys have played. I'll be the first to admit, I did not have Diego Luna in my mind making that 24-man squad. After tonight,
Absolutely.
I always loved his work ethic. I don't watch much MLS. I watch some Charlotte, but in the games I've seen that isn't Charlotte, and happen to have done Real Salt Lake games. He plays for Real Salt Lake. I've loved his energy. I've loved his tenacity. But he's just someone where you can kind of tell in sports, in any sport in general, the stuff's there. He's just not putting it all together. Like basketball, you could see a guy generating open shots, taking good looks. They're just not falling. You could see a young quarterback making the right decisions, or placing balls in tight windows, but it's just out of reach.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's been Diego Luna. That's been Diego Luna. And I will say, like I said, I was the first to admit I didn't have him on my 24-man squad. Now, but there's some real questions, and I think even some of the starters who are missing for the Club World Cup should be questioning, particularly those wide midfielders should be questioning whether they have a spot on that team. Another player like this, for me, is Tim Ream. Now you may be saying, Garrett, he was the captain at the last World Cup. Tim Ream's going to be 40 at the next World Cup. That's a little old for someone who's not a goalkeeper. So, but Tim Ream, with how he played, he's been a great pairing with Chris Richards. I may not have him start at the next World Cup, but I'd have him there for the experience. Elsewhere within this, people who I think have helped their World Cup stock, Sebastian Berhalter, son of former U.S. coach Greg Berhalter. I wasn't high on him. He plays for Vancouver, but he's looked really good. He's played out on the right at right mid, but he's also played at center mid. Very convincing. Looked very good. I know he had the viral moment where he missed a penalty kick against Costa Rica in the shootout. Honestly, you know what I say to that? Shit happens. Like, penalty kicks, a lot of pressure. He's a young guy. It's going to happen. One final person who I think has helped their case for the World Cup, Matt Freese. Mr. came out of nowhere. Matt Turner, current U.S. goalie, it's kind of like this kind of status quo starter, should be shaking in his boots right now.
Timbers
Matt Freese,
shivered.
outside of a few mistakes here and there, Matt Freese looked really solid. Now, players who I think have hurt their stock, I'm going to go off on a limb and say every player who's playing at the Club World Cup right now instead of the Gold Cup has definitely hurt their stock. However, the only player that I foresee has kind of hurt their stock when it comes to the World Cup would have to be, unfortunately, Charlotte FC's own Patrick Agyemang. Patrick Agyemang is very much how I saw Diego Luna about 6 months ago. The stuff is there. The ideas are there. But for him, it manifests in a different way. For me, Patrick Agyemang, he knows what to do. He knows when to do it. He's fast. He's strong. He's tall. He's everything you want in a forward. Most people are happy if you can get two of those three. He has all three. He's got the decision making. The problem is he just doesn't make those decisions quick enough. You can see the idea in his head. He's turning to shoot when he should shoot. He's trying to fit it in the window, but he's just not like, when I say he's not fast enough, I don't mean running in a straight line fast enough. I mean, he gets the idea too late. Or He tries to make a pass, which would have been a not beautiful line-breaking pass and lead to a goal, but he second guesses himself and the defender intercepts it. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be on that 24-man squad. I'm just saying he's not helping his case. He needs to be more sure of himself. I don't think he's
Soccer
going to make.
Tony Romo. He's soccer Tony Romo. Makes the right read. Does like on paper, like, okay, on this one I should get it right here, and then I could like, oh shit, intercepted. Oh, okay, like, yeah, I got all the intangibles. I'm doing it right. Okay, stepping back. All right, passing it. Oh, intercepted. I could have just described, like, I just described a typical like prime Tony Romo drive right there. Like, it's there, he just doesn't have it yet right now.
Yeah, and Patrick Ajman's a really young guy. I think he could be a starter for the U.S. next World Cup once he develops, that sureness. It's not even that. I think he has the skill to get the ball there in those tight windows. It's just he hesitates and second guesses himself. He needs to be more sure, which I think, he's really burst onto the scene with Charlotte FC this season. I think
Hmm.
he'll develop that. I think he'll be a good option going forward.
Yeah.
And obviously, the final on Sunday is against who else but Mexico. We've seen this storyline 100 times. We've won some, we've lost some. Most recently, we lost to Mexico 2-0 in an exhibition game. But outside of that, in the Gold Cup and the Nations League, which I will explain to Aiden what the Nations League is later, U.S. has kind of won a lot of the last ones. But current betting odds, at least on the app I'm using, has the U.S. winning, has 44% chance the U.S. wins, 46% chance Mexico wins, and it says 10% chance of a draw. That just means it's decided in overtime or penalty kicks. I honestly, I need to go back and watch some of the Mexico games, but for me, I've got the U.S. in this. Outside of the 2-0 loss in the throwaway game in October, here's the last results over the last, cycle. And what I mean by cycle is World Cup cycle. 3-2 US, 1-0 US, 2-0 US, 0-0, 1-1, 3-0 US, 2-0 US, 2-0 Mexico. And you may ask, Gareth, what are those, you mentioned some ties. Yeah, those were in throwaway games. All of the meaningful games the U.S. has played against Mexico have been wins and by several goals. Now I realize this is a different Mexico team. They're on the up, and I'm not saying this is going to be a cakewalk. I think this is going to be an absolute war of a match, and I definitely could see a world in which where Mexico comes out on top. But for me, I've got the U.S. winning this, taking this one home. I want to give a score prediction. I think the U.S. is going to win this one 2-1. Not in extra time. I think the U.S. is going to jump out to a 1-0 lead. I think Mexico is going to level probably just after halftime around the 60th minute. And then the U.S. is probably going to score low 80s, and then it's going to be an absolute eternity of the last 10 minutes. As it always is with Mexico. An eternity
Yep.
in the last 10 minutes. Now, is that because of what's going on the field? No. 3 out of the last 4 times the U.S. has played Mexico, they've had to stop play because of homophobic chants.
That is not funny.
It is
I
not
do
funny.
not. I
But
don't think that's funny.
but what I will say is they've even had to call matches early. The Nations League final from 2023, where the U.S. walloped Mexico 3-0, they called the game 7 minutes early because the fans wouldn't stop chanting. The Mexican fans wouldn't stop chanting homophobic things. I'm against what they chant. I'm against it. The only thing I will say is it wasn't a problem until that year. Mexico has had this chant for decades. That doesn't make it right. I'm not saying that makes it right.
Yes.
I'm just saying, why hasn't something been done until now?
Mm-hmm.
You can
Yeah.
look up videos. I didn't realize what they were chanting was homophobic. I thought it sounded a lot like punta, which I thought they were just calling the goalie a bitch. But that's not the worst thing to hear at a soccer game. But apparently, It's something that sounds similar to the word for bitch. I'm not going to say it because I don't want YouTube to take our stuff down. Not that they would, but in the event they do, I just don't want that on my record. So I'm not going to say what the word is. It sounds a lot like punta, but it's not. So that's all I have for the Gold Cup. Like I said, I could see a world where either team wins. It's a great rivalry. I definitely think there's going to be some chippiness to it. Both squads are young and hungry, have new managers. I can't wait to see how it plays out. So, and on to the ESPYs now.
Yep, on to the ESPYs. So recently, the voting is now out for the 2025 ESPYs, and I thought it'd be a good idea to go over some of the best categories and give our takes on who we think should win, who's the most deserving, who has our vote, and maybe even a couple snubs. Starting off the night, we have Best Athlete in men's sports. The four qualifying candidates are Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Cy Alexander, and Shohei Ohtani. Personally, for me, I have SGA winning this one. In my opinion, his work in the NBA so far has been absolutely great. Securing that finals win for the Oklahoma City Thunder, franchise that has yet to win, that for previously has never won a NBA championship while they were in Oklahoma City. I feel like that's a very monumental moment that needs to be highlighted. And for me, with his dominant MVP caliber regular season and finals MVP, he has my vote for winning best athlete. Shohei Ohtani, in my opinion, has the best intangibles of an athlete. He's always proven, like both pitching, batting. He's always like he's one of those once in a generational types of players. But over the course of this year, I feel like SGA has made more of an impact on Oklahoma City culture as opposed to Shohei Ohtani over this past year. I'm just saying from 2024 to 2025, I feel like SGA has had the bigger impact on his city and on his brand.
I could definitely see an argument for either, but I'm gonna have to go with Shohei Ohtani here.
Hmm.
Um, if Aaron Judge, as much as this pains me to say as a Red Sox fan, if Aaron Judge were up for this, um, he'd probably win this. But um, Shohei Ohtani literally just barely trailing Aaron Judge and all these leads second in OPS. Um, 54 home runs last season, 130 RBIs, 134 total runs. Um, he's up there in extra base hits. I mean, Shohei Ohtani, I know this is him being back pitching is outside of this, but Shohei Ohtani, even when he was hurt, even when a big facet of his game was taken out of the equation, he was still able to find success and not only personal success, but help lift his team over the Yankees in a World Series win. And that's and me taking Shohei Ohtani is not to take anything away from SGA. I think he had a
Hmm.
phenomenal run. His impact in Oklahoma City is something that I don't think Oklahoma City fans will ever forget, particularly some of the ones that I have as friends. Well, that this is a memory that kids, adults, brothers, sisters, whoever is they're gonna remember forever. And that's not the, and I'm not trying to take anything, but I just think for me, Shohei Ohtani was the best male athlete.
I mean, I can definitely see that. I just feel like SGA's just overall impact in Oklahoma City is just something that I feel like is generational, and I feel like this would really highlight that. But Shohei Ohtani, I would not be disappointed if he won. All four are very qualified. I just don't see Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen's good consistently every year. Nothing really special happened in this season. Like as per like Buffalo Bill standards and Josh Allen standards, that really stuck out to me. And Saquon Barkley, yes, he finally got his championship, and he had some iconic moments, which I will highlight later in this episode. But it's just when it comes to best athlete, for me, it's between SGA and Otani, and I just have to give the edge to the impact that SGA has over. Now, granted, Otani has done wonders for the baseball world right now. Him and Aaron Judge have baseball on their backs right now when it comes to just media attention right now. But SGA really able to highlight smaller market teams, I feel like is something that's more impactful in my book. But then after that, we have best athlete in women's sports. We have Simone Biles, Sidney McLaughlin, Gabby Thomas, and Aj Wilson. For this one, I have a lot of respect for Simone Biles. And some people like her, some people don't like. I err on liking her. Like I feel like she overall very inspirational model for women athletes all around. I feel like she got too much hate when she backed out of the Tokyo Olympics and was really able to put it on for Paris in Paris and like made some monumental proved why she's one of the best female gymnasts out there. But in my opinion, if we're just going off this past year, I don't think Simone Biles had her best year from 2024 to 2025. I feel like her, like, granted, I do think this award is probably going to go to her just on name brand recognition. Everybody knows Simone Biles, and I love Simone Biles. I feel like she's like done a lot, but I really want to highlight Sydney McLaughlin and Gabby Thomas. Gabby Thomas had a wonderful Paris 2024, winning the gold medal in 200 meter, the 4 by relay and 100 meter, the 4 relay for 400 meter. Absolutely dominated Paris in track and field. And same goes for Sydney McLaughlin, where she won 2 gold medals in the 400 meter hurdles and the teaming up in the 400 meter relay. For me personally, I feel like Sydney McLaughlin, I would give this one to. I have immense respect for running the hurdles in track and field, and she had a dominant year. And I want to put some highlight on her, so I'm going to give this one to Sydney McLaughlin.
Um, that this could be very general, but for me, I'm gonna give it to Gabby Thomas. Just her performance in Paris 2024, solid performance. I mean, solid. I shouldn't say that about a gold medal. Awesome performance. U.S. always, they're not the best in track and field, but they're also not the worst. I mean, they're up there with the best. But for me, I just feel like a lot of people are gonna go, like you said, similarly are gonna go Simone Biles just because it's the name brand. But I feel like if you just, like you said, she didn't have the best year, but that's also like, subjective for her. That isn't,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
very so. And then we're not saying, but obviously, having not only a gold in the 200 meter, gold in the relay, gold in the 400 relay, and then also having a bronze and a silver from Tokyo. Obviously, that doesn't go into the ESPYS, but 3 gold medals and 1 Olympics. That's nothing to scoff at. That's pretty good. That's more than most people don't even get one when they go to the Olympics. So I'm gonna give that one to Gabby Thomas. Huge Paris Games, good game for her. Hopefully, we'll see her back in the next one. I don't know. Maybe
I
getting
think
towards the end
she's.
of her running career.
I think she. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Um, Moving on, we got best breakthrough athlete. Gareth actually gave me some pretty interesting statistics that may have swayed my opinion. But in this one, we have Cooper Flagg from Duke, Chloe Humphrey from UNC's women's lacrosse. Shout out the Tar Heels. Amazing championships in women's lacrosse and women's soccer. Always proud repping the Tar Heels. Unfortunately, like just with our time constraints, I haven't been able to highlight some of the achievements of our Lady Tar Heels, but want to give a big shout out to Chloe Humphrey, absolutely killing it in women's lacrosse. Had a killer year and absolutely dominant performance in the championship. Iona Marr in rugby, and then Paul Skeens for the Pittsburgh Pirates. For originally, I did not like. I didn't really think Paul Skeens really fit the mold for a breakthrough athlete because he was had a really dominant run as an LSU pitcher, and I was like, Paul Skeens was on everybody's radar. Like how a breakthrough athlete, in my opinion, needs to be somebody that breaks the mold. But Paul Skeens fast track through the minors into the league, the major league, and performing at the caliber that he does for a very lackluster Pittsburgh Pirates. I feel like that's something that really needs to be highlighted. Um, we're seeing a generational pitcher that has a lot of the intangibles at such a young age, and for a position where like it's only going to be up for him. I feel like he definitely fits the mold for a breakthrough athlete, and I'm leaning more giving it to him right now. But I got to give a shout out to Chloe Humphrey, like UNC, always killing it. And Cooper Flag, yes, breakthrough athlete, but like Mr. Basketball, everybody had him on it on everyone's radar. So I guess I have to give this one to Paul Skeens.
I'm giving this one to Paul Skeens as well. Like we said, he went through 4 levels of baseball in just under 5 months. He started out single A, he went to then triple A Adelune Curve, then double A Adelune Curve, then to the Pirates triple A affiliate, and then to the Pirates. And just also the impact he has for that organization. He's practically kind of hinted at. He kind of carries that team on his back. And whereas when we look at things like Cooper Flag, he was great, but we already kind of knew about him. Yeah, Paul Skeens was great in college, and he was cool and like he was a solid pitcher, but not everyone knew Paul Skeens' name. There are people who I know who didn't really follow college basketball who knew who Cooper Flag was before he got to Duke. And even then, Cooper Flag was a big part of Duke's run in the tournament this year. But honestly, he has not had the same impact that Skeens has had on the Pirates as um as Flag had on Duke. I think it's undersold the impact that people like Con Knipple and others had on that Duke team as well. And that's not taking anything away from Flag, but I just think if we're looking at purely just the definition of breakout athlete, for me, I've got Paul Skeens. Is the way he fast tracked through the minors and the way he's just so dominant so fast, and the way people talk about him. Like Red Sox fans wanted to blockbuster trade. They pretty much wanted to throw some of the stars we have already at him. They wanted to give up Bregman, who we just, put a whole bunch of money into. Bregman and all sorts of like future considerations for Skeets. So I think that says a lot, particularly coming from a fan base who is very disgruntled when people trade away their superstar. So that's my take.
Yeah. Moving on after that, we have best record-breaking performance. We have Gino Amuriaman, Caitlin Clark, Kevin Durant, and Alexander Ovechkin. I got to give this one to Alexander Ovechkin just because he overcame a record that I'm not gonna lie, I just didn't think was gonna be broke. He took Wayne Gretzky's goals record, and granted, Wayne Gretzky still holds the title for most points overall in the NHL. But Alexander Ovechkin really secured like legacy-defining record this year, overtaking one of the records that just people thought would never be broke. And I got to give it to this one just on the pure history behind it. So I got to go Alexander Ovechkin for this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ovechkin as well. I mean, I know there's like the whole argument among hockey fans. Gretzky did it with a literal wooden stick, where Ovechkin had all this high tech stuff. I mean, I don't care. That's just the direction the sport went. Like Sports are high tech now. Who cares? Defenses are better now. Goalies are better now. It all evens out. So for me, it was a tremendously it looked like a tremendously tough record. My limited hockey knowledge. I mean, it is. That is Wayne Gretzky as well. So I mean, I've got as well. Ovechkin was awesome this year. I mean, not peak, but still able to break the record. Still able to lead the Capitals on a little bit of a run in the playoffs. Ultimately, they fell short, but that doesn't downplay the impact he's had at all this season. So for me, I've got Alexander Ovechkin.
After that, we have Best Championship Performance with Simone Biles in the 2024 Olympics. Women's all around. Stephen Curry with men's basketball Olympic performance. Freddie Freeman for the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the World Series MVP, and Roy McIlroy. I'm biased. I have to go with Roy McIlroy on this one just because his last round in the Masters was absolutely amazing. Him able to overcome the hump. There were moments of kind of like doubt I had during that, uh, like in that final round there. I was like, was he going to pull it off? Just off of it, like pure champion, like which championship I like the most. I have to go with Roy McIlroy on this one, but I would not be disappointed if you did point out Simone Biles or Stephen Curry for this one. Freddie Freeman, like all these are solid championship performances. For Simone Biles, if I have to critique, I just think her Rio performance was substantially better than her Paris performance, but still by her standards, extremely amazing. Simone Biles was able to secure in Paris the all-around medal, the team medal, the vault medal, and second place for floor exercise. Um, she had a really solid Paris performance, but to me, her all-around performance in Rio kind of is something that I look back at a little bit more with more dominance as opposed to her Paris performance. Still legendary, but I kind of have to go with the just off. Maybe I'm a golf homer. I just got to go with Roy McIlroy finally getting over that hump. It was years in the making. People thought he was never going to be able to win the Masters, and just able to come out and win it in the manner that he did, I thought it was a very interesting and very captivating championship performance. Statistically, was it the best? No, but if you want to go off of like statistics, I probably would have to go like maybe Stephen Curry or Freddie Freeman, but just off of pure enjoyment, I enjoyed Roy McIlroy's more.
I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I'm not as big on golf. I still enjoy it, but I think it's not only that, but it's the better success story. He's been chasing something his whole life. Yes, he's the Grand Slam champion, so he's won other stuff, but he's been chasing this forever. He's known for having historic just fall aparts when he gets on the cusp, like historic falling aparts when he gets on the cusp of winning the Masters. But he was finally able to bring it home, and you just saw he was absolutely emotional when he won. You saw what it meant to him, and that was absolutely like Aiden hinted at. And people thought he was never going to win that. Similar to how we talked about with Pochettino in the U.S. Like there's just certain stuff we thought he couldn't do. That was Rory McIlroy, but fortunately he proved us wrong. He got it done, and that's why I have Rory McIlroy as my championship performance.
After that, we go to Best Comeback Athlete. We have Gabe Landeskog from the Colorado Avalanche, Suni Lee, U.S. gymnast, Mallory Swanson from the U.S. Women's National Team, and the Chicago Red Stars, and Lindsey Vaughn from skiing. This was one where it's kind of a little bit up in the air for me. Suni Lee did have a solid parents performance with winning bronze all around and bronze in uneven bars. Very solid performance, and just being able to come back from I believe it was what was the injury? I don't want to say like it was Achilles. Hang on, let me look up what was the. Uh, and, yeah, she had a rare kidney disease that really threatened her whole career. Uh, Being able to come back from that and showing out the way that she did in the Paris Olympics, I feel like is very impressive. So I kind of got to give it to her. But if Gareth, do you have any input?
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I'm gonna have to go with Mallory Swanson. Mallory Swanson, prior, not just not even a year before the Olympics, tore her patellar tendon in her left knee during kind of a throwaway game in which her tendon ended up rupturing as well, and her kneecap ended up as far as her upper thigh as a result of the injury. But thanks to obviously modern medical science, she was able to make a comeback and a return to the team. This year, Mallory Swanson, I believe, currently has 7 goals right now for her current club team. But the reason why I'm giving it to her is U.S. Women's National. Sorry, Mallory Swanson plays for the Chicago Stars. The reason I'm giving it to her is, despite following her injury, she not only scored several goals throughout the U.S. Women's National team's um, campaign in which they won the gold. She scored the game-sealing goal over Brazil in the gold medal match. So that's why I'm giving it to her. She went from possibly not even making the roster because of an injury to sealing it for the U.S., getting the women's team back on top after a little bit of a slide that they had in recent years, helping them return to their former glory. So that's why I have Mallory Swanson on there for
Yeah,
comeback
yeah.
athlete.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Sometimes with the comeback athletes, like I kind of got to catch up on what was the injury and like how severe it was. And definitely a lot of these storylines are very interesting and like very captivating and really showing the perseverance of these athletes being able to overcome insurmountable odds. But moving on, we have best play of the year. Uh, for these, we have Saquon Barkley, backwards hurdle. Tyrese Halliburton calls the game in game one in the NBA Finals. Sabrina with the game three uh, winner in the WNBA Finals. And Trinity Rodman with the overtime goal to send the United States women team to the semifinals in the 2024 Olympics. For this one, if we're just going off of clicks and just what the best play was, I got to go with Saquon Barkley. Like everybody was talking about this hurdle for weeks. Like this is the hurdle on Madden. This is the like moment everyone tried to recreate in video games, trying to just capture this moment again. People like I didn't even know a backwards hurdle was possible, and just seeing like Saquon Barkley, like just that seamless play and like just absolute domination on Saquon's part, I got to give it to him. I did really like Tyrese Halliburton calling game in game one of the finals, but for me, I feel like that moment is kind of like a little bit uh, just not as big as Barkley's moment because like you go on to know like the Indiana Pacers later lose the finals.
Yeah.
And like if this was like a game winner for game seven of the finals, absolutely. That's the moment. That's like the moment of the year. But Saquon Barkley gets this hurdle, and granted, it's a regular season game, but the Eagles later go on to win the championship, the Super Bowl. Like you gotta that whole season for them can be encapsulated in that one electric moment.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on the Saquon Barkley thing. As much as I want to say Trinity Rodman's goal and extra
Hmm.
time to send the U.S. to the gold medal match, it really didn't have the same impact as Saquon Barkley's backwards hurdle. Like you said, people trying to recreate it and stuff. It truly was a absolute magnificent feat. Whereas Trinity Rodman's goal, yes, it had a large impact, but it was kind of a routine. His goals in soccer are big, but it was kind of like a routine shot. And that and I'm not saying like it was savable. I'm just saying it's kind of like your average goal in a soccer game. Still impressive, but not backwards hurdle impressive. People trying to recreate it on Madden. So I've got the Saquon Barkley backwards hurdle as well.
After that, we have best team with the Florida Panthers, Los Angeles Dodgers, New York Liberty, Ohio State Buckeyes for the football championship, Oklahoma City Thunder, Philadelphia Eagles, UNC Tar Heels for women's lacrosse, United States women's national team for soccer, and UConn for women's basketball. The biased part of me, and I did vote for the UNC Lady Tar Heels because always love supporting the Tar Heels. Absolutely great win and great run for the women's lacrosse team. Really liked hearing their story and seeing them win, especially with Chloe. But if I had to think who's going to get this one, like I gotta say, like just off name brand, Philadelphia Eagles might take this one, just because I know the Philadelphia Eagles fan base is like pretty strong, and I know they're going to be out there voting for this one. But Oklahoma City Thunder also being able to win the championship for a small market team, as I said before, that kind of is what led me to give SGA Beth's Male Athlete of the Year. But yeah, a lot of different, really good championship winning teams. You could pick any of these, and I would not have a problem with it.
For me, I've got the Florida Panthers. This was supposedly a down year for them, but even then, they were still able to get their second consecutive Stanley Cup win. Despite, having different pieces than last year, they were still able to find a way to get it done. After losing in the finals 3 years ago, they were able to turn it around and win not one, but two. Like I said, they didn't have the regular season they wanted, but they're able to find a way to get it done when it matters. And that is the mark of a good team. It doesn't matter, how much you win by. Doesn't matter, how it looks, as long as you get the job done. Florida Panthers, regardless, got the job done. And even as the season wound down to a close, even as they got into harder competition in the playoffs, they started blowing teams out. They started, you know, I don't want to say come out of nowhere, but they started when they should have, the game should have been getting closer. The games are getting further and further apart. The blowouts are getting worse. Um, they they kind of once they got their momentum started, they hit the ground running and never looked back. So for me, I've got the Florida Panthers who, even through adversity, found a way to kind of almost ride the upward trend.
Yeah. Going on after that, we have best college athlete for men's sports. We have Cooper Flagg, Wyatt Hendrickson from Oklahoma State Wrestling, Travis Hunter, and CJ Kirst from Cornell Lacrosse. I got to give this one to Cooper Flagg. For me, this was between Cooper Flagg and Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter absolutely having an historic Heisman level season, but for me, Travis Hunter wasn't even the best player in college football, in my opinion. I mean, Ashton Genty had a really good case for the Heisman, in my opinion. If he was in a bigger team, people would have given him a fairer shot. But Cooper Flagg, by far, in my opinion, was the best player in men's basketball. And that's why I got to give this one to him. No slight to Travis at all. I believe he's going to be doing amazing things in the NFL. But if we're just going off of success of college teams and personal accolades, like I got to give this one to Cooper Flagg.
I agree as well. Well, I did say he wasn't the only one on that Duke team responsible for their success. He was a big part of it, and he made his presence felt in a big way. even in games where teams were able to keep him quiet for a half, he'd explode on the scene in the second half. So for me, that's why I got to go to. Like, even when teams scripted for him, he found a way.
After that, we have best college athletes for women's sports. We have Olivia Babcock from Pitt Volleyball, Kate Fassey from UNC Soccer, Gretchen Walsh from Virginia Swimming, and Juju Watkins from USC Basketball. Gareth, I know you might have a take for this one.
I got Gretchen Walsh. Um, some people may say I'm jumping the gun on this classification. I think in 10, 15, 20 years when we look back, we'll view Gretchen Walsh how we kind of view Katie Ledecky. Like, think about how when someone wins a race by a long margin to the point they're out of the frame, they talk about, oh, they're doing a Katie Ledecky. Now, she doesn't have a moment like that. Gretchen Walsh is still very young in her career. She's still in college and has a long international career ahead of her. She has Olympic medals at this point. But I think in the future, we're going to look back on Gretchen Walsh, how we look back on Katie Ledecky and Missy Franklin of the U.S. team from 5, 10 years ago. So I just think she's dominant. She gets it done not only in the pool for the U.S., but as well for Virginia. Um, I believe she has numerous national championships and conference championships with the U.S. women's or with the Virginia women's team. So you could honestly say anyone on that Virginia women's team for this, but for me, I'm going to go with Gretchen Walsh.
Yeah, I gotta go with you on this one. I mean, with your background and knowledge in swimming, if you say this girl, this woman is the like next big thing in swimming, I kind of gotta take your word for it. Just absolute dominance performances. I got to give a shout out to Katie Fassey, absolutely taking the Tar Heels by storm and having a very dominant junior season in 2024, where she was able to log plus 90 minutes in 16 matches and firing off 67 shots, landing 33 on target. One of the top soccer players of the year, having the most goals, 20, and most points, 44. Absolutely dominant performances by Kate. And yeah, a vast array of very amazing women athletes. But then after that, we have best athlete with a disability. We have Noah Elliott for snowboarding, Ezra French for track and field, Tatiana McFadden for track and field, and Grace Norman for para triathlete. I got to give this one to Grace Norman. Just the ability to perform at a high caliber in a triathlete and in a triathlon with a disability is definitely something that I feel like is very inspiring for her. I feel like she's proven that she has she's been an inspiration for a lot of people being an amputee, and I feel like her performances in her triathlons have been extremely impressive.
For me, I'm going to go with someone who's not there, and I know it's boring. But for me, I'm going to go with a swimmer, Leanne Smith. She's an American Olympic Paralympic, or she's an American Paralympic swimmer who has represented the U.S. in numerous occasions. Who within the last year has received a bronze medal at Worlds in Manchester, and then had a outstanding run at the Paris Olympics this summer, where she won gold in the 50 freestyle, gold in the 100 free, and 2 silver medals in relays. And not only were these gold medals, obviously they're gold medals, they're a big deal, but one of those races was in, so for those of you who don't know, for Paralympic sports, they go in classifications, like they classify disabilities. For one of those events, she was swimming a category up, which means she was swimming against people who are more able bodied than she was, and she still won the gold. So that is why I'm giving that one to her.
Hmm. Potential snub that Gareth just highlighted right now. Uh, very, very good take by Gareth. After that, we're moving on to best NFL player. We have Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Surtain second. I got to go with Saquon Barkley on this one, just because had an absolutely dominant year. Rushing, was able to lead the Eagles to a Super Bowl, finally getting his first Super Bowl ring. I feel like that was a very good thing for him. I was really excited to see it because I always thought he was going to like always stay with the Giants, but him moving to Philadelphia definitely was like the best move and has been absolutely dominant in a position where the running back has been kind of put under scrutiny as of late. A lot of people don't want to pay high dollar for a quality running back, but Saquon Barkley's proving that running back is definitely a team need. Had some of the most electric moments of the season. I got to give this one to Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley, run the damn ball. Next question.
After that, we have best MLB player with Freddie Freeman, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, and Tariq Sakabul. I got to give this one to Shohei Ohtani. Being able to, I believe it was this year, he got 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases, milestone nobody has achieved before. While being a pitcher and being able to pitch at such a high caliber, he's the best overall player in the MLB, in my opinion.
I'm gonna have to agree on Shohei Ohtani there. Even though he wasn't pitching last year because of an injury, he was missing a whole facet of his game. He still just, like you said, 50 stolen bases, 50 home runs. He was second in RBIs, but first overall in runs with 134. Only 4 home runs behind Judge. Up there in OPS, I think he overall has the greatest impact out of all those players. More than that, he was able to help his team get to a World Series title where Judge didn't. So give me Shohei Ohtani. The Yankees lose. Next question.
After that, best NHL player with Leon Dresdenel, Connor Hellebuck, Nikita Kucherov, and Kale Macker. I got to go with Leon Dresdenel, being able to lead the Edmonton Oilers to a very solid run in the NHL Finals. Unfortunately, unable to seal the deal, but was really able to get like sufficient time and minutes for the Oilers. I got to give this one to him.
Same here. I'm giving it to Leon Draisaitl, one of the most dangerous players in front of the net. Had essentially made Connor McDavid take a backseat. Connor McDavid ended up assisting more than he ended up scoring, but Leon Draisaitl, every time you looked at a Oilers game, he was on the score sheet several times, not only with goals but assists. He was
Mm-hmm.
just a points machine. He's going to be a high dollar target for many teams this offseason. Don't think the Oilers are going to let him go, but for me, give me Leon Draisaitl as the best NHL player.
After that, we have best NBA player with Giannis Antetokounmpo, Shai, Galius Alexander, Nikola Jokic, and Jason Tatum. I got to give this one to SGA. Like for me, a lot of this is like kind of an Oklahoma City Thunder sweep, just because I'm so high on their championship and the impact that SGA was able to have on the OKC with his MVP performances during the regular season and the finals. Very proficient in shooting. Nikola Jokic had a very solid year as well, but you got to give this one to SGA.
In my limited ball knowledge, I'm going to give this to SGA as well. NBA champion, great player.
Best WNBA player, we have Caitlin Clark, Napisa Collier, Brennan Stewart, and Aja Wilson, Brennan Stewart. I like him a lot, especially with Brennan Stewart being able to lead the New York Liberty to the WNBA championship. But you also kind of gotta give this one to Clayton Clark, just being able to show absolute dominance. Her rookie year of the WNBA really has not been letting up with her 3-point proficiency. This one could go one of three ways, especially with Josh Wilson having an absolutely dominant year for the Las Vegas Aces. You could go either three of those. I would be happy. But if I had to guess, just off name brand recognition, Caitlin Clark and her fan base might take this one.
I got to give it to Caitlin Clark. She's been a breakout player in the WNBA. She's continued her dominance on from college, and I like pissing people off. So, good third reason. Give me Caitlin Clark.
After that, we have best driver with Joey Logano for NASCAR, Alex Palou for IndyCar, Oscar Piastri, and Max Verstappen. I got to give this one to Max Verstappen. In my limited car and racing knowledge, I got to get back into NASCAR and F1. But Max Verstappen, just absolutely dominant in F1. He's one of just those household names that everybody knows, and I got to give it to him.
I got to give it to Max Verstappen as well. Limited ball knowledge for F1, but if they've made a song about him, probably pretty good.
After that, we have best UFC fighter with Dricus du Plessis, Marab, Devonishi, Kayla Harrison, and Islam Makhachev. I got to give this one to Marab. I really do like Islam Makhachev, but he just did not have a dominant 2024 and 2025 per se, because he only had one fight. Kayla Harrison, really dominant. You could give it to her. I would be really happy. But I got to give this one to Marab. Dricus du Plessis, I like him a lot, but his wins were just not that dominant. He kind of had a lot of plot armor. Marab being able to take down O'Malley twice and just really showed dominance in the bantamweight, going up against some pretty good competition in his three fights, especially taking down Umar Nurmagomedov. I kind of got to go and give it to him.
I'm going to go with a Dagestani man himself as well. I'm going with Marab Bivalshavi. Like you said, beat Sugar Sean twice, beat Pre-Sean taking stuff seriously, and beat Sean taking stuff seriously. So we know who's the better fighter there. And then obviously he won that third fight as well. So for me, take me to Dagestan 2-3 years. I forget if that's even him who said that.
That's
But
that's not him who said that. That's Islam Makhachev who said Dagestan in 2 3 years.
disappear, forget.
Wait. Was it Islam or was it Khabib? I forgot. It was one of the Dagestanis, but he beat a Dagestani. So there you go. But best boxer, Naoya Insu, Clarissa Shields, Katie Taylor, and Alexander Usyk. I got to give this one to Usyk just because I try to keep in touch with boxing, but Usyk just absolutely had a dominant performance against Tyson Fury, who's one of the most well-known and celebrated heavyweights in boxing. Being able to take him down in the dominant fashion that he did was absolutely just amazing. So I got to give this one to Alexander Usyk.
I got it. I'm gonna trust you on this one. I don't have very much ball knowledge when it comes to boxing. Trying to get into it, but you know what? I'll go with Alexander Usyk.
After that, best soccer player. Gareth can probably take this one because he's was telling me how this list was not the best, but we got Antonia Bonmetti, Christian Pulisic, Alexander Putellas, and Lamy Yamal. I got to give this one to the American Dream, Captain American himself, Christian Pulisic.
I'm giving it to Christian Pulisic. 20 goal contributions in 34 games. I know people will probably give it to Lamine Yamal, being a 17-year-old who won the Euro, scored an absolute rocket of a goal. But I'm looking at overall just kind of contributions here. Christian Pulisic for me has be given bigger contributions to his team. And Lamine Yamal is also 17. Christian Pulisic, he's mature, he's 26, makes good decisions. Lamine Yamal is still a little rough around the edges. Not saying he can't get there. I do think in 10 years, Lamine Yamal will be the guy. He will be that guy we are talking about. He will be the new Messi Ronaldo. It'll be him and someone else, probably Erling Haaland. But still, I've got Christian Pulisic. Not the best list. I think there could have been more. Obviously, I think this is crazy that Erling Haaland wasn't on this list, among other people. So, me, I've got Christian Pulisic.
Then after that, we have um, best golfer, Nelly Korda, Roy McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, and Maja Stark. Got to give this one to Roy McIlroy. As I was saying before, that Masters win really takes it over the edge for me. Nelly Korda did have a very proficient year in winning the Chevron Championship in 2024, which is a very high caliber LPGA tour win. But I kind of got to give this one to Roy McIlroy, just being able to overcome his demons on this one.
I got to give it to Rory too. Same reason I gave it to Rory earlier. It's just feel good story. He's been looking for this for a long time. He stuck with it, fought, faced his demons, got it.
Then after that, we have best tennis player. I don't watch tennis.
I don't watch tennis either.
Uh, I want to give it
Roger
to Coco.
Federer.
Not on the list. I'm going to give it to Coco uh, Ganoff. I like your name.
I'll second that.
Very anticlimactic end to a good discussion.
I mean, this is gonna pain my family. My family watches tennis. I'm gonna be honest. I don't. I throw tennis balls to the dog. That's my limited ball knowledge. They look like a baseball sometimes. You can sometimes get them to move like baseball pitches when you throw them. I don't
Hmm.
know. Tennis, my dog loves you. I do not. So, with that being said, that'll conclude our SB section. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Nope.
So that'll be it for us here this week. Over the next 2 weeks, expect some kind of an increase in content production and a kind of diversification of our content, if you will. Obviously, we have our college football deep dive, unrelated to college football 26 deep dive. We're not saying we're doing that. We can do that if y'all want or if we decide to, but we'll have our kind of us teaching the other series to kind of, give us a window as we go forward into the fall so we can better understand and kind of help each other and help the conversation flow. With that being said, thank you guys for listening in. And next time, Aiden will be here. So
In person.
in person,
Let's go.
person edition. COVID's over. I'm kidding. So thank you guys for listening in, and we'll see you next week.